Joining me now is Republican Congressman Ken Buck of Colorado, who faced multiple death threats during the Speaker fiasco after refusing to back Jim Jordan and is being evicted from his Colorado office by the landlord, a major GOP donor. So, Ken Buck, thank you. Welcome. So how are you feeling about the party as it tries to regroup following two damaging Speaker battles, exposing deep rifts?
Yeah, I think the party will come together. We obviously have a lot of very important issues with Israeli funding, Ukraine funding, the continuing resolution that we need to pass. I think there are a lot of major issues that we will unite behind.
But how do you unite behind decisions, complicated decisions with such a thin margin? What about your own role?
Yeah, well, I have decided, Andrea, I'm not going to seek re-election.
You too?
Yeah, I am joining Kay and probably some others in the near future, but I've decided that it is time for me to do some other things. I'm always have been disappointed with our inability in Congress to deal with major issues, and I'm also disappointed that the Republican Party continues to, rely on this lie that the 2020 election was stolen and rely on the January 6th narrative and the political prisoners from January 6th and other things. If we're going to solve difficult problems, we've got to deal with some very unpleasant truths or lies and make sure that we project to the public what the truth is.
Well, let me pick up on that, because it was clearly his decision not to go along with that lie that blocked Congressman Emmer from becoming Speaker. He had a lot more votes than Mike Johnson, who came in as a dark horse. And Mike Johnson, the current Speaker, was an architect of the false elector.
Well, Tom and I both voted to certify the electors. It was a decision that I think was the right decision under the Constitution. Mike went to the Supreme Court with a challenge to the election. I think going to the courts is one thing. Trying to move the mob from the mall up to the House floor and interrupting the congressional proceeding, a whole different issue.
But is it now impossible in such a closely divided House for any Republican, such as yourself, who doesn't deny the election, doesn't go, with the MAGA people, doesn't go along with Donald Trump? Is it impossible for any Republican who doesn't go with Donald Trump to work with the leadership and be effective?
I don't think it's impossible, but I certainly think, from my own perspective, it's more important that my voice is out there in the public, talking to people about how we move forward. Our party is the party of Lincoln, the party of Reagan. The civility in politics generally is less now than it was before. The ability to deal with major issues, the sustainability of Medicare, Social Security, other big issues, we've got to address, and we can't keep worrying about the last election. We've got to focus on where we're going to take America in terms of policy. Isn't
Congress, the congressional Republicans now, the House at least, the party of Donald Trump?
Well, I think I'm in the Republican Party, and there are certainly people who are followers of Donald Trump.
But you're going to be leaving.
I'm going to be leaving Congress. I'm not going to be leaving the party, and I'm not going to be leaving my role in trying to talk truth to the public.
But what does this mean for those who remain in Congress?
Well, I think this election is going to be a critical election, both at the presidential level and in the House. And I think people in the House are going to have to make a decision on where they want to go with the values of the Republican Party.
He is so far ahead in every poll, in early states and nationally. It is so overwhelmingly likely that he will be the nominee. Would you vote or publicly support someone other than Donald Trump if he is the nominee?
Well, it's going to be a very difficult decision that I have to make if that is, in fact, the case. If it is a Trump-Biden redo, it is something that I'll have to make that decision at the time. But I am not thrilled with either one of those candidates, and we'll just see what happens down the road.
And does this mean, I have to take a look at your district, is your district likely to go Democratic?
It's a very strong Republican district. A lot of great people that I'm going to miss serving, frankly.
So you don't think this would change the margins? Well, thank you very much, Congressman Buck, and obviously a major decision.
Thank you.
Thanks for
having me.
sharing your plan.